How's it going, everybody? This is Cameron White with White Light Astrology, giving you guys the overlook of Chiron in Aries. Chiron enters Aries on April 17th, 2018 at 1:11 a.m., that's so awesome, at 1:11 a.m. on Pacific Standard Time. So whatever time zone you're in, do the math. I'm not here for that. It will be in Aries from 2018 to 2027. However, will retrograde on September 26th of 2018 back into Pisces, and then go direct. I think, he goes back into Aries on February 18th of 2019. So we aren't fully there yet, but he's gonna be there for like 9 years, so this might as well take place now. And I'll probably do some more videos as the years go on about this. However, this whole video is gonna be about what is Chiron, who is he, what does he do, why is this significant, why does this mean anything, what did it mean with Chiron in Pisces, what does this mean with Chiron in Aries. I want to be talking about what's going to be the best thing to do with Chiron in Aries, because I like to look at astrology as not so much as what's going to happen, but how you can take advantage of an opportunity of this time. As well, I'm going to use some examples. I have some example charts here of other celebrities that have Chiron in Aries. I have some great examples, by the way. And basically, we're just going to be talking about how this is really going to look. And, in most of my videos, I'm more, like, oh my God, like you can do this, blah, 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 blah. With this video, I kind of want to, I don't want to say I'm going to be real. Like, it's more of like, I want to get a little bit more intimate and deep, because that's just kind of the role that Chiron plays. I have a Chiron and North Node conjunction in Libra at 10 degrees. So I'm very Chiron is very near and dear to my heart. And I would love to talk very seriously about this rather than so, I guess naturally how I really, like my natural self, where I'm like really, just blah with a ton of energy and stuff. Like this one, let's get a little bit deep. So let's start off with Chiron. Moves into Aries, 1:11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's going to be Capricorn at the ascendant. Chiron will be in whole sign house, the whole sign fourth house. It will be conjunct Mercury, and it will be squaring Saturn. That's it. Now, this is really interesting. I mean, he's going to make some really, really minor aspects, but honestly, just watch those off. I think it's really funny that we're going to have Capricorn on the ascendant, and it's going to be squaring Saturn and Mars there. Mars is going to be conjunct Pluto. Saturn is conjunct the ascendant. Mars is conjunct the ascendant. Mars is just about to pass the ascendant at that time. I think this is really interesting to play out, because Aries is ruled by Mars. So we really look to Mars to really understand how Aries is really doing. Is it on fire? Is it excited? Is it fucked up? Is it, little not where it wants to be? And with Mars being in Capricorn, where also we'll be seeing a retrograde this 2018, this is going to be really interesting. And as Capricorn on the ascendant, this isn't going to be the most, I don't want to say liberating type energy. It's going to be very serious. It's going to be very action oriented, and you are going to feel a sense of, I don't want to say courage, but confidence in whatever it is that you're really wanting to apply your action towards. However, Mars goes from, being all electrified and crazy with Uranus energy there to, okay, maybe this hurts a little bit more with Chiron's energy there. Now, if you look up Chiron's discovery chart, Chiron's ascendant was at 26 degrees Sagittarius, which, so good. So with a 26 degree Sagittarius rising, I'm a 29 degree Sagittarius rising, and I also have Chiron conjunct North Node at 10 degrees Libra. So I fucking resonate with Chiron a lot. With this 26 degree Sag rising, we see Chiron having the galactic center right on its ascendant. Also, if we're using whole sign houses, Chiron has Moon and Jupiter in Cancer in the 8th house, where Chiron, although it's this on the surface level of really understanding and reacting and responding to its influence, can be very galactic is the best way to put it. And I know that's kind of a buzzword that doesn't really have too much of a distinct meaning, but what I like to use the word galactic for is bigger than ourselves and what we know. It is more centered towards what actually keeps this universe together in our solar system. The galactic center is, it kind of moves with that throughout time, but at that time, 26 degrees Sagittarius is basically right there. So it's ascendant sign is very much universal. It's very awe-inspired. It's very opening. It's very exciting. It's very deep. And it has moon in the 8th house, where we experience a lot of sensitivity and a lot of emotions regarding how this really works. Where do we really see ourselves, especially when it comes to other people? And Chiron does have a lot to do with the relationships with other people. But anyway, I wanted to bring Chiron's discovery chart up because we get a better idea of what Chiron's influences play. And with that ascendant sign there at the galactic center, Chiron isn't just, you know, another planet or an asteroid. I mean, Chiron's not even a planet, it is an asteroid. And really, I mean, I don't really use asteroids all that much, but again, Chiron's just there. It's very much present in my life, and I'd love to bring that energy to you guys. So, Chiron's deep. It's got the galactic center, 26 degrees Sag rising. It's very like, whoa, how far is this going? What do we really believe? Where's the meaning and the pinpoint of all this stuff? Now, Chiron, let's talk a little bit about Chiron. So it's got a very irregular orbit, similar to Pluto. It takes the longest to go through Pisces and Aries, which is so interesting because Pisces is where we're closing things up, where we're really understanding the whole entirety of, you know, life, as I like to say, because Pisces, it's such a deep sign. It's Jupiter and Neptune ruled. It's very confusing, very mysterious, very also very environmentally influenced, very dualistic. And then we have Aries, where it's all about new beginnings, you know, rules the spring equinox. It's all about taking initiative and drive and force and all that Mars energy. And as Chiron went through Pisces this last 10 years, it's been a lot. It's been a lot to understand. It's been a lot to believe. It's been a lot to feel out. And as Chiron goes into Aries, we're taking that isolated, you know, oh, I'm back here up in my head trying to figure things out, to in your face, like, where are we taking action? Where are we really going? What do we need to focus on? Where do you need to be healed? And all of that kind of jazz. Now, Chiron, again, I think I've said this a couple times, moves into Aries at 1:11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you're gonna wake up on the 17th feeling a different way. Chiron's movement into there is that I emphasize a lot on the Pisces Aries cusp. It's the ending into the beginning. It's the, I don't want to say it. It has to do with death. It has to do with endings and closure into something new, a different idea, a different inspiration. And as Chiron moves into Aries, it's going to be very much focused on, what are we doing? Where are we taking action? Why does this hurt? We're going to be dealing with self-worth issues. We're going to be dealing with the issues along the lines of, am I capable? Am I, confident? Am I, am I worthy? Am I stupid? Am I even, basically anything that comes back down to I cannot say that word, self-depreciating, basically. Now, Chiron's going to be here for 10 years. So there's only so much I can really say about Chiron being in Aries. I've never been alive for it. If you were born through 1969 through 1977, you have Chiron in Aries. And you're going to go through your Chiron return right now, which is going to be very interesting. But to really understand what Chiron's energy is going to be like, I have a couple of examples to really use. Now, there was one example I just thought was so funny, is Jesus Christ had a Chiron in Aries. Now, don't get me wrong, I found that on the Astro Data Bank. I just thought that was just a really funny example, because Chiron in Aries, where we look to Chiron is that wounded healer aspect. It's that shaman. It's that, okay, where do things hurt and how do you really heal them? And with that being Aries and that Mars energy, it's very like, yeah, I'm not going to let that pain affect me. I got to keep moving on. It's very cold. It's very brutal. It's very, like suck it up type energy. All the kids through 1969, 1977 had that suck it up energy, basically. Just deal with it type of stuff. It's very passive, meaning that having that Mars energy where it's all about taking that initiation, that drive, it's not trying to sit there and think about, what do I feel? How does this feel? It's about, okay, you feel it, take action. Don't think about it. Don't sit there with it. Use it to your advantage. Use it to do something with yourself. And that's just funny that Jesus had that. You know, it's so funny to me because when Jesus died on the cross, per se, Jesus really, I mean, Jesus took a damn beating. Like the passion of the Christ, Passion of the Cross, whatever that movie was, I think painted a really good picture of what Jesus kind of went through. And you didn't hear Jesus suffer at all. He took that shit. He took the pain. Like, I mean, when we're talking about, that's why I'm really hitting on this, is because like Chiron and Aries, like, we're gonna be really toughening up right now. I've been kind of using the phrase of, instead of the wounded healer, I think this Chiron and Aries aspect is going to be the healed warrior. It's going to be very intense and strong. But Jesus took a fucking beating, dude. Jesus was beat the hell down. And I like to use that as a good signification for what Chiron and Aries is really going to be about. Okay, where do we really need to strengthen and heal where we take our actions? Can we heal? Can we get over the pain and anguish that happens to us that we may be inflicted by? Or, you know, maybe you're inflicting pain onto another person. Maybe that's hurting yourself. How can we, I don't want to say get over it, like, you know, it's very insensitive, but what kind of actions can you start taking in order to better yourself? That's really the best way to put it. Chiron and Aries, in my opinion, is going to be very much the healing of identity, the healing of the healing of making the right decisions and taking the right actions. This isn't going to be, you know, like Chiron and Pisces these past 10 years where it's been, God, everything about what we believe has just been confusing. Nothing has made sense. Once Chiron goes into Aries, it's like, man, this makes sense. It's time to take that initiation. It's time to take that force and that drive. And that, also using the Jesus example, that's a lot what Jesus had to do. He wasn't, when it came to that healing and that pain and stuff like that, he wasn't so deep on it. He was like, yeah, you know, X, Y, and Z sucks, all this pain, suffering, etc. But what are we really doing to go for it? You know, like, are you, like, I'm not a Christian at all, so please don't get offended or triggered during any of this part where I'm talking about Jesus. But Jesus, at the end of the day, was like, yeah, but we still got to keep moving. Like, let me heal you. I got to move on. I'm going to heal you. I'm going to keep going. Like, bam, bam, bam. It's very much, this healing that's going to take place is going to be very fast. It's going to be very in your face. Aries rules the face, which I have actually, before I keep talking about more about the Chiron and Aries, I really want to bring up Eminem, Slim Shady. God, him and Angelina Jolie have the two best examples for Chiron and Aries. Eminem has Chiron Aries, whole sign fifth house, and he also has Mars in the 10th. So when we look at Chiron and Aries, we're looking at where Mars is, and he's got Mars in the 10th. And this was so funny. I looked this up. Let me read this. As a teenager, Eminem wrote letters to his father, according to Debbie, and all came back marked "Return to Sender." Friends and family remembered Eminem as a happy child, but a bit of a loner who was often bullied. So Chiron and Aries, you know, again, Aries is all about self. It's all about me, myself, and I. Mars, that aggression and stuff like that. And this is in the 5th house, before Eminem's 5th house, where we're talking about romance, we're talking about pleasure, we're talking about the father, all that type of stuff. One bully, D'Angelo Bailey, severely injured Eminem's head, mentioned in his song Brain Damage. That is so funny. Chiron rules the face. Mars is all about taking out that aggression, stuff like that. Aries is all about Mars. Mars is all about aggression, anger, force. Chiron's all about that pain. Aries rules the face. It's like and Mars is in his 10th house in Libra, where he's like talking about that relationship and stuff like that. Like, that's so interesting to me that came up when I was looking this up. So anyway, just a little fun example of how astrology kind of works. With that being said, that Chiron and Aries stuff, there's going to be a lot of pain. There's going to be a lot of, I don't want to say the word suffering because I feel like that's more of a Saturn thing, but Chiron's going to be like, where are we really sensitive? And with Aries, this is going to deal with our sense of identity, our sense of self, our sense of, okay, what are we doing? Where do I stand? Where do I identify with? How can I take leadership and initiation without it hurting? Where do we need to heal that part of ourselves where we're afraid to take initiation, where we're afraid to put ourselves first, where we tell ourselves we're not capable, or we're not worthy, or we're stupid, or we're alone? That's a big thing, is that we're alone. That the construct of we are alone is, like, in my opinion, the most detrimental thing that has ever happened to society. And with all this happening, these are the issues that are going to come up. This isn't going to be, you know, this isn't a Mars transit or a Saturn transit or an outer planet transit. This is an asteroid. This is just a little, it's like a taste. I heard this example one time, that when looking at a chart, the planets are the full, like the meal, like the actual food, while the stars and the asteroids are more of like your spices and your blends and stuff like that. So Chiron, imagine, and you know, you have a regular meal, and just instead of, you know, putting salt on it, you put garlic salt on it, or there's a little bit too much garlic salt. Those are the type of changes that you're going to see. It's not like you're changing your whole meal, you're just changing a little bit of the taste of it. And with Chiron being in Aries, this pain, this confusing, and I cannot even talk right now. Of course, I'm recording this on Mercury retrograde, but this pain and this questioning and this healing that we've gotten through Pisces of our beliefs, of spirituality, drugs, our environment, all of that is finally moving into, where are we taking action? And as it moves into Aries on the 17th, we have this huge Mars retrograde. So it's really going to be more of a bigger role. I feel like Chiron in Aries is really going to show up once Mars goes retrograde. And then once it goes direct, Mars goes direct, then like a month later, Chiron will go retrograde and go back into back into Pisces, where we're going to be dealing with this stuff all over again. However, during this time, during the summer, you're going to get a really big taste of what Chiron in Aries is going to be like. It's going to be like a fat serving of whatever spice that you want to reference Chiron in Aries to. I don't know a lot about cooking, so I can't think of a spice right now. So during the summer, think of, where is your healing coming from? Where are you feeling pain? Are you ready to take initiative? Are you ready to start taking action on healing? It's kind of like, you know, you can, Chiron and Pisces be like, you can sit in your shit for 10 years, get confused, feel the pain, but if you're really ready to heal yourself, you've got to move forward and you've got to take action steps for that. And you can't hold on to a picture of what it's supposed to look like. You can't be afraid to take that action. That's why I use the reference in my videos of Chiron being alcohol on the wound. It's like, it's gonna suck, it's gonna hurt. The bigger the wound, the more it's gonna hurt, all that alcohol all over it. But man, that is the first thing you gotta do when it comes to the action steps to healing yourself. If you got a fat cut, if you don't want that thing infected and you have to amputate your leg or your arm, you gotta pour alcohol on that bitch. You gotta really open it up. And that's just when you feel it. You embrace that pain where it's like, it's so in the moment. It's not gonna last forever. But that healing will last forever. Now, as this all happens again this summer, pay really big attention to, where are you taking action? What's really going to be the action steps towards making some type of a healing change, especially with the way that you identify with yourself. If you're going to be, I think Chiron and Aries is going to have a lot of struggle with identity, how we really see ourselves, how the world sees us, and what we're really willing to do in order to fix that. Because it's not about, you know, we're doing the wrong thing or we're doing the right thing. It's about whatever I'm doing right now may not make you feel good. And it's about making you feel good, because that's what's going to be right. Now, as Chiron goes through Aries for these next 10 years, I'll probably do another couple more videos about this, just because it's kind of hard to talk about one of these bigger transits that last so long in just a short video. However, to understand a little bit more, I already talked about Eminem. I want to talk about Angelina Jolie. Angelina Jolie has Chiron in the whole sign 10th house, and it is conjunct her midheaven, and is conjunct Jupiter. Now, Chiron in Aries, where I talked earlier in this video about Chiron in Aries is very like, you know, suck it up, push it off, very tough, very resilient, can kind of take on anything. This is that Mars energy, so Mars doesn't like to feel weak. Like I said, this isn't the biggest sensitivity time. Mars doesn't want to feel weak. Mars doesn't want to feel disempowered. However, Mars still will feel pain, but will keep moving on with it. So as Chiron goes in Aries, suffering, this pain's still gonna be there, but it's not gonna be so much emphasized on the pain. It's gonna be so much more emphasized on the healing and what action steps you're willing to take. So let's look at Angelina Jolie, which Angelina Jolie has it in the 10th house, conjunct midheaven, conjunct Jupiter. So let's look at Angelina Jolie, 10th house. What is she known to do? Well, she plays Salt, a badass bitch, and she plays Mrs. Smith and Mr. and Mrs. Smith, a badass bitch that literally just gets the shit beat out of her and just kills everybody basically. She also plays in Tomb Raider. Like, Angelina Jolie is like the purest essence of Chiron and Aries. Like, goes through all this pain, goes through all this stuff. And I mean, like, I was even reading a little bit more about her biography. Let me read this to you. As a teenager, Jolie found, which, by the way, Angelina Jolie, I didn't even know this till I looked this up, that her father is John Voight. Like, what? That's just funny that Chiron in 10th house, John Voight, she had a lot of issues dealing with her father because she was raised by her mother. Just very interesting stuff. Anyway, as a teenager, Jolie found it difficult to emotionally connect with the other people, and as a result, she self-harmed. Later commenting, for some reason, the ritual of having cut myself and feeling the pain, maybe feeling alive, feeling some kind of release, it was somehow therapeutic to me. She also struggled with insomnia and an eating disorder and began experimenting with drugs by age 20. Where else? Where was the other one I wanted to read? Yeah, she's had a lifelong dysfunctional relationship with her father. What was the other thing I wanted to read about that? That's okay. But I did want to hit that part. That's such an interesting quote. As a teenager, Jolie found it difficult to emotionally connect with other people, and as a result, she self-harmed. She self-harmed. Later commenting, for some reason, the ritual of having cut myself and feeling the pain, maybe feeling alive, feeling some kind of release, it was somehow therapeutic to me. That's just so interesting. And especially, I mean, if you've been alive in the past 20 years, you know how Angelina Jolie, it's like everything that's ever happened to her has just been publicated to the world, and it's always about, you know, how Brad Pitt is fucking her up or what type of abuse she's going through and X, Y, and Z. It's like Angelina Jolie's known through the shit she's been through. And then she had to go through cancer and all this other stuff. Like, good Lord, that is just one tough ass bitch. Like, I apologize for my cussing, I really do, but there is just no other way to describe how powerful she is. She takes in all this pain and is still absolutely resilient about it. So I am emphasizing so much on this because take that example of someone born with it and apply that to what the next 10 years are going to feel like. You're going to go through it. You're going to still feel it. It's still going to be very harmful. Like, I like to, like, for example, Eminem, he has that in his whole sign 5th, Mars in the 10th. Her Mars is also in Aries too. However, with all that Eminem stuff, it's like he had a song about brain damage. He had a lot of, you know, he talks about, I thought it was really funny too, the 5th house is all about art and creativity, that he talked a lot about what goes on in his head and usually how kind of weird and messed up it is. And it was almost like that was a way of healing the way that he worked through his own issues. Another example was Uma Thurman. Uma Thurman also has a Chiron in Aries. And Uma Thurman is like the, she, in my opinion, is like the underground version of Angelina Jolie. She's just as hardcore. Like, let me read this to you real quick. Where is it at? In an interview with the New York Times in February 2018, Thurman revealed that she was raped by an actor when she was 16 years old. She did not identify the actor, who was nearly 20 years her senior. So I thought that was really funny because it's in her 8th house of other people. So it's kind of like, okay, where did she get that? Where is it? She was bullied a lot too. There was a part of it I wanted to read. Thurman is described as having been an awkward and introverted girl who was teased for her tall frame, angular bone structure, enormous feet, and unusual name. When Thurman was 10 years old, a friend's mother suggested a nose job. As a child, she suffered bouts of body dysmorphic disorder. And if you kind of read a little bit more about her biography, you could tell that a lot of people, it was other people in her life that really brought the pain out in her and that realized her own issues. And then when you look at it in her movies, I mean, she played in Kill Bill. Like, okay, that's like up there with every Angelina Jolie movie. Then she played in Pulp Fiction. Just all of these huge roles where she was very much resilient in her strength. I mean, Uma Thurman, like, if you watch Pulp Fiction, she like basically overdoses on heroin, and she's like, well, I just have to get over it, like, because I can't say anything. I'm not gonna do that. Like, that would kill us all. So I just Have to get over it. I got to do something different. I guess I learned from that lesson. And I bring these examples up because, again, how do we relate that to what's going on in this present day type stuff? Where are we really going to be healed? Where are we really going to feel this pain? And a lot of it's going to be coming from the words I, the words me, how you think about yourself, what situations you are in, what you're willing to take action on, what makes you angry, what makes you frustrated, how you feel as if you're not capable. That's a big, big, big trigger word with any type of pain or suffering. Like if you got a Saturn or a Mars or anything with Aries, it's that I'm not capable of. And as Chiron goes through there throughout these next 10 years, test yourself. Do it. What can you be capable of? What can you work towards? What can you really possibly see about yourself? And of course, this happens on April 17th. This summer is going to be the biggest taste that we're going to get of really what Chiron Aries is going to be about. In 2023, it conjuncts Jupiter. In 2024, it conjuncts the North Node. Those are only the bigger transits that's going to be happening with the bigger planets. I wouldn't really worry too much about Mars and Venus and stuff like that. But as it conjuncts Jupiter and the North Node, where we're talking about spiritually understanding ourselves, getting a lot more grounded in our sense of beliefs, as well as the North Node, our direction, we have a lot of work to do with this Chiron and Aries. And I believe this is going to be probably one of the biggest healing periods that society is going to see. And we're dealing a lot with what are we capable of doing? Again, I'm pretty sure I wanted to say this early in the video, I'm pretty sure I said this. This Chiron and Aries, where we're talking about Chiron, the wounded healer, has now become the healed warrior. What are you ready to do? What are you ready to take on? What's going to be different? We're not going to be so confused and lost anymore. We're going to be starting off with taking immediate action, with really going for something and letting ourselves experience that. If you're getting out, like I love using that reference. It's like when you have that alcohol poured on your wound, you have to feel it. There's no avoiding that at all. Like you're like, oh my God, this sucks. Feel that. Feel that. I guess that I don't want to say that pain. Feel that, because that's what's going to help you remember why you want to be healing, why you want to be doing these type of things. What is making you suffer? What is making you just absolutely hurt? Where is this pain? This is a big time to recognize where the pain is coming from. And then change it. Do something different. Don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to walk like Jesus, where he was like, yeah, I'm taking a beating and I'm okay with that. Don't be afraid to be like Angelina Jolie, where it's literally like bam, 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 and she keeps moving on. Don't be afraid to be like Uma Thurman too. She was weird. I mean, she was like, got made fun of for her name and a whole bunch of other stuff. I mean, Gandhi was Chiron and Aries, Carl Jung, Chiron and Aries, Nelson Mandela, Chiron and Aries. Really big people that really took that pain onto them and just kept moving forward. Use these people as inspiration as to what you're going to be feeling. And you're going to feel this shit. Like, you're going to wake up on April 17th and be like, whoa, I'm okay. And I don't want to say like you're okay, like you're healed and you're fixed. No one's ever healed. If anyone ever tells you that they're healed, they're lying to you. No one is ever healed. No one is ever fixed. We're all going through this process simultaneously at the same time, and we're all doing it in different ways. However, this is the way, like, we have this great opportunity to where the healing is all about taking action, taking initiation, and not being so deep with it. Embrace it, take that pain, but do something different with it to where you know you're not going to feel that pain anymore. Like, I thought it was funny with Angelina Jolie. Where did it say? When she was 24, she experienced a nervous breakdown and was admitted for 72 hours to the UCLA Medical Center's psychiatric ward. 2 years later, after adopting her first child, Jolie found stability in her life, later starting, "I knew once I committed to Maddox," which I'm assuming is her child's name, I would never be self-destructive again. Where can you commit to your actions? And how can that make you feel? Where can that bring that healing? What do you need to commit to? And this is why I'm saying, what do you need to connect, or what do you need to commit to? Like, you I, me, that's all Aries stuff. It's all about the face. It's all about initiation, drive, force. It's all about integrity. What is right? What is wrong? You know, what am I, I like the cardinal signs because it's always like, I think of the cardinal signs and I think of, if you watch Parks and Recreation, where they have the city council meetings and it's like all these people with like all these issues. One person's like, we need to do this. Another person's like, maybe we should balance things out. Another person's like, we shouldn't do that. And it's all this, you know, Aries, Libra, Capricorn, Cancer, the two hard asses of the zodiac, and the two, you know, indecisive, emotional type archetypes with that. So, to wrap this all up, Chiron's going into Aries. The biggest thing I could say about this is take action. Where this pain, this feeling of misunderstanding, of not getting it, of questioning everything, is finally coming to rest. Now, September through February of 2018, we're going to feel it again. But it's basically just for Chiron to kind of check us, be like, hey, what did you feel again? What was all that about? Like, why did you go through that suffering for like 10 years? Like, why aren't you doing that now? So during that time, don't beat yourself up. Don't, you know, it's just, Chiron's just here to check us. And this is good. It's going to kind of suck, but it's good. But during this time, don't be afraid to take action. Don't be afraid to feel as if you can't take it all in. You know, this is going to require a lot of us to really look at ourselves and go, fuck, where do I need to be healed? Where do I even identify as? What do I even want to be doing? And don't be afraid to take those action steps. And if you're already doing this work and you've been in it for a minute, like a lot of us have, this is this is game time. This is the time for us to go, all right, it's game time. What do I want to start taking action on? If I really have been doing this healing work, if I have really been understanding everything that I can with that Chiron and Pisces energy, what are you doing? Do it. Like, don't wait. This is about taking action. And this is where you're going to understand more of what Chiron and Aries is going to be about, is the more and more you take action, the more and more you really just, okay, channel your Aries energy, because that's where you're going to know what's right, what's wrong, what's sensitive, what's not, what's healing, what's painful. So take that all in. Thank you guys for watching this very long video that I did. I appreciate all of you. I will probably be talking about this more because, I mean, it's going to be here for 9 years, so like I got time. But I did not want to talk about the whole thing because I don't know what's going to be like in 10 years. However, I did want to give you guys this because starting with Mercury retrograde, if you watched my last week's video, or whenever I put this out, I should say when, you know, Mercury went retrograde, full moon in Libra video. Mercury retrograde started 2018. Chiron going into Aries is literally going to be that, whoa, like, okay, now we really are going. And then Uranus is going to go to Taurus, where it's going to be like mountains are moving. This 2018 is a lot this year. And Chiron in Aries is really going to play a big theme, especially when we watch the Mars retrograde. Watch the Mars retrograde. Mars retrograde. Can't hit that enough. So thank you guys for watching all my videos, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. I love every single one of you. Please, I would love some feedback. If you know, if maybe you found another example of Chiron and Aries, or maybe if there are some questions, I'd love to actually talk about this. I don't really comment a lot on my YouTube videos, but I'd love to talk with you guys about this. So, you know, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know, you know, how you feel about this. And I'll be seeing you guys very soon for either next week's video, and I'm also going to be doing a Uranus and Taurus video as well. So I'll be talking to you guys then. So, see ya.